The New Testament does have adjectives and adverbs in comparative and superlative forms, so being able to say bigger, better. It's not particularly full of them because there are other ways of saying bigger and better than just using those comparative words, but they are there. The New Testament begins to use more of these alternative forms, but you have got the basic forms. They are left until the end of many textbooks, and they are something to have a quick look at. First of all, there are two patterns of standard adjectives. You have sophos and deinos. Nice, straightforward first and second declension adjectives. In the comparative, these change slightly. So sophos has a short o. It now gets a long or. Deinos has a diphthong there, which is long, so it now gets a short o. You then get the ending teros. And it's that teros that is your comparison. Same thing happens in the superlative. Sophos gets an omega, deinos gets an omicron, and this time it's tatos. So there's something quite nice. Whatever your positive adjective was to start off with, even if it's a third declension one, you've got comparatives and superlatives with nice, straightforward first and second declension endings, and the very highly marked teros and tatos endings. There are quite a few irregular ones. Agathos, kakos, megas, polus, and mikros are 5 that you might meet with enough regularity to make it worth learning them. Agathos has the comparative kreson. It does have a superlative, aristos. It does indeed have a different comparative, amenon, but that's not used in the New Testament, so it doesn't appear in New Testament books. Kakos gives you kairon. Megas, mazdon. Polus, pleon. And mikros gives you mikroteros. So, nice, straightforward comparative, but a bizarre superlative. You then have kakistos, megistos, pleistos, and elakistos. Most of these don't appear in Duff. They're not well attested in the New Testament, but if you're going to be reading Greek more generally, then it is worth knowing that they exist. There is also a second version for kakos, but again, it's not found in the New Testament, and so it doesn't appear in books. You'll see that kreson, kairon, mazdon, pleon now don't have a nice teros ending. They are now third declension, so you need to know their genitive. Kres onos would be the genitive. So the stem changes to a short omicron and then the normal third declension endings. How do you use them? What you need to think about is how you say bigger than something. And you've got two options in Greek. My house is bigger than your house. You've got two options in Greek. Oikia, mu, estin. Now you need your bigger. Let's look back. Agathos, good. Kakos, bad. Megas, big. Polus, much. Mikros, small. So big, megas, bigger. Mazdon. So you're going to need mazdon. And now you've got two options. Option 1, you can say air, and then you use the same case you had in the first part of the comparison. So you could say air, he, oikia, su, which is air plus same case. Option 2 would be to say tes, oikias, su. This is the genitive of comparison. There is no word for than, just a genitive case. You will also see para being used to do comparison. So my house is bigger beyond yours would be something else you'd see. That's not standard Greek, but it is something you will see in the New Testament. So there is a third way, but it's not one that's official. A couple of examples for you. Luke 11:26. Tota periotai kai paralambane hetera pneumata ponerotera heautu. Then he makes his way and he brings together other spirits worse than himself. So teros, terra. This is neuter, plural, accusative or nominative. And the genitive of comparison. Hebrews 1:4. By how much greater become than the angels? By how much greater he has become than the angels. This is a very difficult phrase embedded in a much longer statement, but you've got the irregular comparative and then your genitive of comparison. You'll notice this is spelt slightly different. I gave you creson. You do get a spelling variant in the New Testament. So you get double tau instead of double sigma. This is the Attic dialect. So you will find it in particular parts of Greek, particularly those that are echoing Attic dialect or generally trying to look more like 5th century Greece and the heyday of the Attic times. So you find both creson and creton in the New Testament. It's relatively unusual, but you do find both spellings in the book. The final thing to think about is adverbs. Take an adjective like sophos or deinos. Sophos, wise, deinos, dreadful, cunning, has lots of different meanings. If you change that to sophos or deinos, you now get the adverb wisely and dreadfully. You could then say more wisely. She spoke more sensitively than her predecessor. This is doable in Greek. It's not systematic in the New Testament and therefore isn't kept in the grammar book as something for you to learn. There are a couple of irregular uses that you do need to learn though. Agathos and polus give you the comparatives eu and pola. And then malista is a really important word that stands slightly aside as a superlative type of idea from an unattested root with a comparative malon. These are really useful because actually instead of using the adverb, the comparative or superlative adverb, Greek is much more likely to use malon and malista plus the normal adverb or even adjective in order to express what it's trying to say. So you've got good, much, well, greatly, more or rather, and malista most or very. You'll see plenty of these as you get to read the New Testament. They're sometimes a bit clunky because it's not something the New Testament sits very well with, but you will get into a habit of feeling how your authors individually deal with them.